So normally, when you name a new species, you're not required to get permission from anybody to name it. It's yours to do whatever you want with it. You discovered it, you can name everything you want. But we thought that because we were naming it after someone who has been so prominent, so influential, out of respect for him and the family, we should get their okay. And so we notified the Marley family that we wanted to do this, and they were okay with it. So we felt comfortable proceeding with it. And so then after the press broke on it, so normally the press wouldn't even know about this. Normally it goes in a scientific journal and nobody even knows about it except for scientists. But because of the name, the press got a hold of it and publicized it. And the initial responses from around the world were quite positive, actually. I received emails from Africa, Australia, the UK. But I also received a handful of negative responses, and those came from people from Jamaica or Jamaicans living in New York, actually. And so that sort of opened my eyes to a whole new angle on this, that what I viewed as an honor might not be viewed as such by some other people. And so I took it upon myself to try to use it as an opportunity to help educate people about marine ecology in general, about host-parasite interactions in particular, about why parasites are not bad animals or bad things. In fact, they're the most successful group on the planet, actually. They're very successful. So biologically, they're the champions. So I've had this conversation with people in Jamaica now, and hopefully we'll be able to sort of use this to raise awareness about these issues and maybe even stimulate interest among more Jamaican children in marine science. I also viewed it as a great opportunity once again to work with artists and with the arts in promoting science. I think that the arts actually have a much stronger influence on people than scientists do, and arts can be a very powerful force for helping to educate people about scientific issues. And so this is a good example of where this could actually happen. Okay, so I think the negative response seems to revolve around the whole issue of parasite and what parasite means. So to a scientist, parasite is a very particular meaning, but to other people it may mean something entirely different. And that was the thing that really was brought to my attention, that how other people viewed parasite is not the same way that I viewed it.
And it is quite understandable that a number of people would have a problem with the term parasite. Saying things like that, if you listen to certain reggae records from days gone by, right, the term parasite just doesn't go down well. It's a term that's been used in reggae music, right, and isms, any kind of isms, you'll hear in a number of reggae songs from 20, 30 years ago saying that we don't deal with isms and schisms. So a lot of the time people can get caught up over vocabulary, right, and cognitive meanings as opposed to what's actually intended. And so I guess it takes a lot of patience, tolerance, and willingness to recognize that there might be something else beyond what you actually heard. What you heard is right. It is what you heard. However, is it what it means? Is that what somebody's trying to convey? So I can see where the challenges will come along. Isms and schisms, parasites, vampire, bloodsucker. You listen to all these things. Bob Marley and many others of his era would have used this type of vocabulary in their songs with regards to their liberty, and more often than not, it would be towards a negative meaning. So it's understandable that you had some problems there, man.
Yes, it's clearly understandable, and I think that it's important to recognize that when a scientist names something after somebody, it's not calling them that thing. So, for example, there's a parasite named after Freddie Mercury of Queen, lead singer of Queen, who was born in Africa, and it's also a parasitic isopod, very closely related to the native that we discovered. So he has a parasitic isopod named after him because it was discovered in his birthplace in Tanzania. And so, but the person who described it, named after him, is a big Queen fan and likes Freddie Mercury. And so he was honoring Freddie Mercury by naming the species after him. Beethoven also has a native isopod named after him. Barack Obama has a lichen named after him, which is basically something that encrusts on rock or on barks of trees. It's not a very charismatic organism, but no one's calling Barack Obama a lichen. The person who named it after him likes Barack Obama. There's a spider named after Neil Young. The person who named it after him is a big Neil Young fan. And he's not calling Neil Young the spider. And the spiders are, they're predators, they're arthropods, but he's not calling Neil Young the spider. It's just naming it after him out of respect for his music. So unfortunately, the things that we discover are most often things that are creepy crawly, right? Most of the animals on the planet are arthropods. These are things that have segmented legs. They're like spiders, insects, isopods, all those things. Lobsters are arthropods. And because they're so diverse, the chances are that any new discovered species is going to be an arthropod. And so, unfortunately, all the really charismatic, beautiful things that people like have already been discovered because they're big and obvious. The new discoveries are the small, sort of creepy crawly things that people may not like or appreciate as much. And so, as a scientist, I'm also something of an artist, and so I am recognizing another artist through my craft, which just happens to be working on things that other people may not find very appealing. So so I can see the other side definitely, and my hope is that people will come around to really appreciate, at least biologically, what a parasite is, and separating the sort of the common use of the word parasite from the biological use of the word parasite.
Paul and I are going to make a tune, right? And we're going to be bringing awareness. Well, I'm becoming so much more aware of Paul's work and what Paul does, and I find it rather interesting. So I look forward to making some kind of track, perhaps got your voice on it as well.
Absolutely.
Right? And to raise awareness about biology,
ecology,
yeah.
science in general.
Yeah, global warming and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Everything, yeah? It's our planet, we got to take care of it for everybody else to come. And as simple as that. And my reggae music that I do, I got to make sure that it's clean, knowledgeable, informative, and reggae is about informing people about anything and everything. So, thank you for helping me out. And
Thank you.
We're going to make it work.
I look forward to it. So in this bay here, what we have is actually a combination of habitats that together make up coral reef ecosystems. So when people think about coral reefs, they think of the reef itself, but actually it's made up of a combination of different ecosystems. For example, you see the sand flats here, and you see some dark patches out there that are actually seagrass, and a lot of fishes that we see and we use for food actually, that's their nursery. So the little fishes live in the seagrass, and then they move to the reef when they're bigger, and that's where they usually get caught for consumption. So these seagrass beds are actually vital for coral reef environments in their support of fish communities there. Coral reefs in general, as you probably know, are the most diverse ecosystems on the planet. And they're only found in certain parts of the world where it's warm enough and where the water's clear enough for corals to grow, which are the main architects of these ecosystems. And so the Caribbean is actually one of the spots where coral reefs occur. And so as a consequence, we have one of the most diverse ecosystems on the planet right here in our own backyard. What most people don't realize is that when we go in the water and look at the diversity there, we're pretty amazed by it. But the vast majority of the diversity on those reefs is made up of tiny things that we don't even see. Things that are living on fish, for example, or inside of fish, things that are living on or inside of sponges and coral, things that are living in the sand, that form the food base for fishes or other things. And so the tiny things really is sort of that's the new frontier for ecology, marine biology in general, because the big things, we know about that. The tiny things, though, are the new frontier, and we're just beginning to understand what a vital role all of those things play in these ecosystems. It's extremely important, and something that most people don't even think about because they can't see it. If you collect some samples with under a scope, you see this vast community of things that are living out there that are really cool, actually. In reality, most of the animals that you might, well, actually you won't see them, but are there on the coral reef are parasites. About 80% of the animals that live on coral reefs are parasites. Even the parasites have parasites that live on them. So parasites account for the vast majority of biodiversity on coral reefs. And yet most people don't even notice they're there because they're small and they're hiding in things. But the diversity is mind-boggling. And so as a consequence, they really are the most successful group of coral reef organisms, parasites. And so they should be applauded for that.